Hi friends, this is Steel Fairy, and I'm here with another discussion video with Do Knight.
Hey everybody.
And we're here to discuss the gameplay footage that Nintendo has been showing off at E3. It was originally going to be all Zelda gameplay, but they added in some Pokemon Sun and Moon, I guess, so that it wouldn't be as barren.
Mm.
But yeah, they both look pretty interesting.
Mhm.
So
Um,
I was kind of hoping that they would like throw a curveball and announce something like completely out of the blue, cause like we knew about Zelda Wii U slash NX for a while, and we knew about Pokemon Sun and Moon for a while, so I thought at E3 they would probably be like, hey, guess what? We have this surprise for you, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen.
nah, I don't think that's been Nintendo's MO for a while now. It's sort of just, hey, here's an announcement. We're not going to give you a lot, and then at E3 and other big events in general, we'll just give a bunch of details on it. Sun and Moon in particular was one of those games where it's just like, hey, it's Pokemon.
Yeah, they
Um,
they just announced like the titles and showed nothing else. We didn't even see the legendaries on the box art for a long time. So I guess Nintendo is working off of what's the name of the director who's been doing the new Star Trek movies and did the last Star
um,
Wars?
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, how he doesn't like release any info about the movies. I
Mm,
think they're kind of working on that, like just the hype alone. They
yeah.
they're, trying to change their marketing approach, I guess. So yeah.
I think it works to an extent. In the situation with Pokemon, I mean, it's Pokemon, so everybody that wanted to get the game was probably going to get it regardless of how it looked. The game could have looked like absolute trash. They could have not tried, and the game still would sell well. But I am glad to see that the art style is very nice with it. A lot of like the new camera angle definitely makes things feel a bit different. It makes the game look a bit different. A lot
Yeah,
of
I
this,
noticed that the camera's focused more on the player character, whereas in X and Y it was sort of still overhead. This one you can kind of see like the full like straight on, kind of like you're walking there with them.
yeah,
So yeah, I thought that was cool. But I know a lot of people are really excited for Sun and Moon. Some of my friends actually um, skipped getting X and Y for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure, but they're saying that, yeah, they definitely want to get this one. So uh, obviously they're doing something right because they're
yeah,
winning back fans who have been on a hiatus from the series.
yeah.
That's what
Um,
Black and White was for me, really, because a lot of I didn't play Generation 4 when it first came out. I was on kind of a hiatus from the series after the major disappointment I had in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then Black and White brought me back into it. So I guess Sun and Moon is kind of that way for some people as well.
for me, I had Generation One, and then I skipped Generations Two and Three because of financial. And I was a little kid, and my parents didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't get Generation Two. I didn't get into Generation Three until about Fire Red and Leaf Green. And having only experienced the original games, they were a significant upgrade for me anyway. So I was okay with it.
Hmm.
And then I got Gen 4. I had Pearl, and then I had Platinum. And then I just didn't get the Gen 5 because I sort of got burnt out on Pokemon after that. I came back with X and Y, and I've had every Pokemon game, so X and Y, and then Omega Ruby. Well, I had X and Alpha Sapphire, and I'm still debating with if I'm gonna be getting Sun or Moon at launch. Like I know I'm probably gonna get them at some point, but I don't know if I want to get them when they first come out.
Mm.
I discussed this with you a bit before we started the video, but the whole thing of it feels like Gen 3 again. Like I missed out on Gen 3 initially, and you know I don't have the nostalgia for it that a lot of people do. So my first introduction to Gen 3 was Alpha Sapphire, and it was cool, and I liked it, but why are they doing it again? Like it feels like there's so many comparisons that can be drawn to that, and I'd have no problem with it being that if it were like the spiritual successor to Gen 3, much like Black and White was seen as a spiritual successor to Gen 1, or even X and Y for that matter. I have no problem with that, but it's like it's literally the next game. There was no space there.
I just love how the last time we recorded a discussion video, your phone went off, and now this time it went off again.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work through it. Trying to work through it because my phone never stops ringing, so I'm just trying to keep the forward momentum, so to speak.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying with how it's a spiritual successor to Gen 3, which I have no problem with because I love Gen 3, but you know. There are a lot of differences and updates, some good, some bad. I like how they kept that feature from X and Y where at the beginning of the game you can select how you want your player character to look based on, you know, either yourself in real life or just what you want to be in the game. And I really like... also, when they were showing off, when you capture a Pokemon, there's this little indicator that appears as a white Pokeball, and it tells you basically if there's a pre-evolution or an evolution, or if the Pokemon comes as like part of a duo or something, like Plusle and Minun. So I think that's really cool because, you know, a lot of times... I know, especially when I was young, I would catch a Pokemon and not realize that it either had an evolution previously or it would evolve. I know, especially in Generation 2, I captured a Donphan even though I had already captured a Phanpy because I didn't realize that they were, like, related because they have completely different like color schemes and stuff, but now I know better. So I think that's pretty cool because when you're exploring a new region sometimes you don't always know, and I know that Pokemon likes doing that thing where they introduce a new duo in every generation. Like in Hoenn it was Solrock and Lunatone, which I'm really hoping that we'll see in this game because it is Sun and Moon, so who knows, maybe they'll even get Megas. That would be interesting.
Well, they in the promotional art they showed off the wristband, so there are definitely Mega Evolutions coming to Gen 7 as well. It's not just being abandoned, which I guess is a good thing. But I wanted to talk about that whole like white Pokeball thing because that was showing that's a good way of evolving and teaching people to go out and play the game and how to play the game. It's like, hey, there's another Pokemon that's related to this, and you have to figure out what that relation is. If it's an evolution or if it's like a duo or part of the family. That gets me to the downside of some of these. And I remember you had I don't know if you have as big a problem with this as I do, but the whole, hey, we're gonna tell you what move to use.
Yeah, well, I think they said when you first encounter the Pokemon, it doesn't say that, but then when you encounter it again after it's already in your Pokedex, that's when it tells you what moves are effective and what aren't. But even so, I kind of agree with what you said earlier about how it's kind of hand-holdy. Like I thought X and Y were kind of easy, and I think with like this new feature, it'd be even easier because a lot of Pokemon is just remembering the type effectiveness and the way the type chart works, and that's kind of like taking away from it a little bit.
Yeah, it's watering down the strategy aspect of the game, and because you're the whole thing is you have to have strategy and knowledge. You have to know uh, what type first of all what types the Pokemon are, and then what types of moves you have that will be effective toward it. Saying, hey, this Pokemon's in your Pokedex, so we're just going to hand you the move set you need to win is
Yeah.
kind of annoying.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, with the type chart, a lot of times you would have to remember how it works yourself. Or, well, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I guess it doesn't matter that much these days because nowadays you can just go online and look it up. But, yeah, you would have to construct a moveset that would be able to cover all of your weaknesses and stuff. And um, so I don't think that it'll say stuff like that with the TMs. Um,
Yeah, I hope not.
because that would just be too much information on the screen. Because you would
This
just
team,
go into your bag and then it would be like, oh, well, this move is ground type. And then it'll have like all the things that ground type is weak against. If it showed like all of the strengths and weaknesses of that ground type in your bag along with like the info about the move, I think that would just be way too much information on the screen. So um, I'm hoping that it doesn't do
yeah.
something like that because that would be dumb.
I also hope like when you're trying to teach them a TM and it goes into the bag, and you select the TM and it's like I'm hoping it doesn't give details on like the Pokemon screen, like when you're going to click selected and it says like for specific Pokemon, um, this would help counteract its advantage or something to that effect. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-mm.
that's like no, I don't want that information. I want to be able to construct the moveset the way I see it, not the way the game is trying to tell me.
What I
And
hope they do with the TMs is I hope that they kind of like highlight certain TMs and then make other TMs kind of like shadowed. So if you don't have any Pokemon in your party that can learn that specific TM, that it's shadowed
yeah,
out. Because
you
like
can't
I
actually
always hated
select
that.
it.
I'd be like, ooh, this move is awesome. I'm gonna teach it to a Pokemon, and then it's like you go through all the text of would you like to teach this to a Pokemon? And then it goes to your party and it's like unable, 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 unable. I'm like, oh, I hate
Yeah,
that. So it would be great if they just like, you know, shadowed it out so that you didn't have to go through all that. But, that could just be me
or like if
not
you
wanting to
highlight it,
waste
it
two
gives you
seconds.
a or like if you highlight it, it gives you a list of Pokemon in your party that can actually learn the move. So that way you don't have to go through the hassle of going through and selecting it and then agreeing because the game has to ask you a million times if you want to do it
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
find out you can't.
Well, I kind of like that it asks you that because I actually had a situation with that earlier. I was considering teaching the move return to my Rapidash, but then when it got into the second question, I changed my mind and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. So I didn't waste that TM because I was playing Gen 4 earlier. I'm trying to complete it for the first time. And in that
Well,
game, TMs were, you know,
yeah,
they
that's not an
were.
issue anymore though.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you have a point there. But,
Um, But yeah, outside of that, they showed off a new Pokemon, which immediately made me think of Zigzagoon, because it's like a little tiny, cute looking thing
hmm
that came out of that, and given the setting and everything, that was just me on the whole idea of like this feels like Gen 3, but at the same time, the game still looks very good, and I'm still interested in it. But what has me like saying that overall was a good demo was the battle royale system.
oh, yeah, yeah. I want to get back to the new Pokemon real quick, and then we'll talk about the Battle Royale system.
All
I
right.
do love the Young Goose, I think it's called,
Mm-hmm.
because I've wanted like a true mongoose Pokemon for a while. I don't consider Zangoose to be a true mongoose. In fact, to me, it looks more like a cross between some kind of like um, probably like lynx or bobcat, and then like it's got sloth claws, and it stands on two legs like a bear when it is getting ready to attack. I don't know. I always hated Zangoose's design. I know it's a decent Pokemon, but I don't know. Just something bothered me about it. And I know that a lot of people disagree and they think it's cool, but to me it just didn't ever look like a mongoose. Whereas this one actually looks like a mongoose, and it's still really cute, even though it has like that terrifying angry face. I don't know. It's kind of adorable on that tiny little body for some reason. Um, I also like how we have a woodpecker as this region's starting bird. We haven't had a woodpecker before, so I think that's pretty cool. Um,
16 pecks a second. Don't forget that they had to like
oh
especially
yeah,
point that
they
out.
reiterated that.
16 pecks a second.
They were like, oh, just repeat 16. Like, oh, so amazing. Uh, but yeah, that was pretty funny. I really liked the interviews that they had with the developers in these segments. They were pretty entertaining. But yeah, so that was pretty cool, and I know they didn't show it in this gameplay demo, but it has been revealed that we are actually getting a koala Pokemon, finally. Um, I forget what it's called, but apparently its ability is really overpowered because it can't be inflicted with any status effects other than sleep. So that's
Well,
pretty
that's
cool.
OP.
I know, right? So yeah, plus koalas are adorable, so I wonder if it'll evolve. But
Give him an abnormally high defense, and he's golden.
yeah, right? Um, Judging by the way the Pokemon looks and the fact that it's a koala, I don't think it'll have a very high speed stat, so it'll probably be more bulky, regardless. But yeah, um, I really like the names of all the new Pokemon. They all sound kind of like sing-songy to me, and same with the human characters. I really like how he seems laid back and uh, pretty cool. Kind of a contrast to rivals of the past. I thought the fourth gen rival was a little annoying, and the fifth gen one, we had one that was kind of a crybaby, and then one that was like super serious, and then in Gen 6, Serena was just kind of like boring. She was a blank slate with like no personality, so
She was literally Gary without the charisma.
no, she wasn't even Gary, because Gary at least has like that cockiness about him. She had
Except without the
nothing.
charisma. Without the charisma.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. Because Gary was about as close to being just a generic goalpost character as possible. But what made him different was the fact that he had that personality and that character to him. She lacks that. So
Mhm.
she is literally just a walking, talking goalpost.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I'm happy that the new rival has a bit of a personality, and he seems pretty likable. Along with the new professor, he definitely seems likable, and his was the name that really I loved. It's just like Kukui. It's like, oh my god, it's so cute to say. It's kind of like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. It sounds like a song. A lot of the names do. I forget the name of the woodpecker one, but that was another one that kind of struck me as being really cute. But
Pecky Pick or something like that.
yeah, something like that. But enough about that. We'll talk about the battle royale now.
Ooh, this is the meat and potatoes of the Pokemon segment.
Yeah, so I'm hyped for it.
4-player FFA Pokemon battles. Like, I think the battle royale thing is cool, like the Mario Party fun little, hey, let's just come in and we'll have once a Pokemon gets knocked out, the round ends, and once the
Hmm.
3 rounds are over, whoever has the most points, most knockouts wins. That's cool. Like, I want that system to be in a full fledged battle. Like,
Mhm.
if you can do a a 4 player full team, full 6 Pokemon team, 4 people, 4 teams of 6, online. It has to be online because if it's not online, it's stupid. I will
Yeah,
go out
that's
and buy the game.
true.
I
If
will I will pre-order it the moment that's announced.
if it's only local, that would kind of suck because then I wouldn't be able to do the free for all battles with my friends like out of the country or anything like that. So that would kind of suck. I'm really hoping that it's online, but if not, it is what it is, and I'll just have to play with people locally. But it would be really cool if it was online. Um, but yeah, when I was texting Zero earlier about the Pokemon stuff, he basically equated it to Mario Party as well and said friendships will be tested. And I totally agree because um, you are able to basically gang up on one person if you want. And so I was saying,
You bring a legendary to that battle,
yeah,
you are going to get ruined.
yeah, everyone gang up on the person who brings legendaries because that's not playing fair, and so you will get wrecked.
You want to bring an OP mess to this legitimate four player free for all. You are going to have a bad day.
Yeah, I really like the free for all thing. It would be really cool if you could bring a full team of 6 in there and they're all just like really super competitive. I can see a lot of fun stuff happening with that, and people trying a bunch of different patterns, I guess. I mean, you could technically, even though it is a free for all, you could like kind of uh, create a strategy with one of the other players, like have them use Sunny Day or something so that you can immediately use Flamethrower afterward or something like that. Um,
Just don't make that alliance if you have a Venusaur, because you will regret it. Because the person they're gonna flame through is you.
well, I mean, like, they could use Sunny Day and you could be the person with the Venusaur who uses Solar Beam. You just never
Yeah,
know. But yeah, I could see a lot of fun stuff happening with the free for alls, and it looks to be really cool. That was a complete surprise to me
yeah.
when
I
they
was not
showed that off.
expecting to do that. That was wow.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh yeah, there's this new game mode that no one has ever seen before," and I was like, "Huh? What are they talking about? Is it like a new feature like Pokemon and Me kind of was?" And then they were like, "Oh, we have this now," and I'm like, "What?" So yeah, that was pretty cool. As far as the game itself goes, I think that the storyline is pretty much recycled from past games. The new kid in town thing has been done in Johto and Hoenn, where you just moved there, and so it's a new region to you, blah, blah, blah. Um, I think they did that in X and Y as well, didn't they?
I think they might have, but I don't know about that one. But yeah, it's just like you are the new kid, and you are God's gift to Pokemon.
I know, right?
Everything you do, you are the Messiah.
But,
every every battle you have, you will win.
oh
No
yeah,
questions.
speaking of the battles, I really like how there's a bit of a shadow on the top and bottom of the screen when you're about to enter a battle. Basically, before the trainer spots you, there's this little shadow effect that happens on the screen, kind of like reminds me almost of like an anime, one of the effects that they would do for an action scene or something. But it kind of like alerts you, because in past games, sometimes you would approach someone thinking that they're just an NPC with an item for you or something. So now it kind of alerts you, like, oh, this person would want to battle you, so if your Pokemon are weak, you might want to avoid that kind of thing. So I think that's pretty cool. It also helps you distinguish from those NPCs with items. So you can approach them without fear. um, and the environment is also really nice. I love how the tall grass looks in this game. Like, oh my god, it looks like you could actually like feel it, and it would be soft. And weren't you saying earlier about how when you walk up hills or
Oh
something, the
yeah,
walking animation changes?
the walking animation. First of all, I've always kind of had this issue since they started doing the 3D Pokemon with the walking animations because they look all stiff and unrealistic, like just like waddling
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
But this one felt very, very real, felt very natural, and I loved how it dynamically shifted with the terrain. You see, as the guy walks up the hill, he starts like climbing. He starts climbing the hill instead of just like walking randomly up it. You know, so the terrain, uh, the character naturally changes and everything. And I feel like that's good. It helps with the immersion. Because if I saw him just doing because seeing a really stiff walk cycle makes me think, it's not too real.
Mhm.
And if he had just ran up it like I'm seeing in the Zelda demo right now, I wouldn't buy it either.
Yeah, I think the character models have really improved overall. Um, they look a lot more human. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I think in X and Y, the heads were kind of big, whereas the body was like really slender and small. At
Yeah, they
least in the
definitely went for like
overworld, like in the cutscenes, they would look kind of normal, but
yeah, they definitely went for like a pseudo chibi style with the overworld.
hmm whereas in this one, it looks more like an RPG, um, which Pokemon is, so you know that makes sense. But um, I think that's all I have to say as far as the environment. But for the in battle scenes, I really like how you can actually see the trainer in the battles now. In X and
Yeah,
Y, it was just like the Pokemon. So now
I
you
mean,
kind of get like a size comparison with the
yeah,
models next to your trainer.
yeah. I believe I had made mention of for the first time in Pokemon history, when you throw your Pokemon, you don't just instantly disappear from existence.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really cool, but I wonder if like the space between you and your Pokemon increases based on like if they have a large tail or something. Because I noticed in that trailer they showed off with Zygarde Perfect Form, his tail was kind of close to where the trainer was. It was almost like you know, almost like the trainer was stepping on his tail. And some Pokemon are like bigger than Zygarde. Like I think Groudon, yeah, Groudon's probably a lot bigger. So I'm kind of concerned that maybe the trainer will like clip into the tail if there's
That's
like a fixed
probably gonna
distance.
happen
I don't know.
because, huh?
I don't know. I'm hoping that like maybe with the bigger Pokemon that there will be an increased distance between the Pokemon model and the trainer model, but who can say?
It, you know, the player model existing does have me interested if they're going to do sky battles again. Are you actually going to be seeing your trainer Pokemon as they're battling? Like, that'd be pretty cool.
Hmm, that's an interesting idea. I'm
If so,
hoping that. Sorry.
sky battles. Someone's got to do it. Sorry.
Um, I'm hoping that they'll bring back that feature from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire where it's the kind of like open world flying. That would be great because I really loved that. Even though it was only with one Pokemon. I've kind of noticed that with the newer games, like in X and Y, if you use Surf with a Lapras, you could see the Lapras model, but if you used it with any other Pokemon, it would just be the Shadow. And it was like that with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire as well. You would have to use Mega Latios or Mega Latias for the open world flying, and you couldn't with any other Pokemon. So I don't know if they'll change that for this, or if they'll have the open world flying in it at all. We'll just have to wait and see, I suppose.
Yep.
But I'm really hoping that it's in there because this region looks really pretty.
It looks really good, and an over-the-top view would be really great for that.
Mhm. I mean, they kind of already drew that like really detailed art of the region, so I'm hoping that since they have that, that they'll be able to do a 3D model of it for the open world flying like they did with the Hoenn region. Um, but anyway, I think we can move on to Zelda now.
Ooh, okay. So they start showing the gameplay, and Link has a tablet now. I don't know. Link's a millennial, confirmed fact. Um,
Oh yeah, I kind of wanted to mention that I really like this new spin on the Zelda series because usually it's just like um, all about magic and
yeah,
like just kind of like a medieval fantasy setting. Whereas this game, I thought when I saw it that it was kind of like if Ni no Kuni and Shadow of the Colossus had a baby because the art style and the music and the way it's an open world RPG reminded me a lot of Ni no Kuni. And they even said that the game was very inspired by Japanese animation. So, plus you get a real Miyazaki feel from the whole uh, nature with technology integrated into it. Like when I saw those guardians uh, that were kind of like um, static in those ruin areas, I was like, okay, yeah, this is a Miyazaki movie. um, and just like the visuals overall, it just kind of reminds me if Ni no Kuni and Shadow of the Colossus had a baby because like it's still a sort of realistic art style, but also taking some anime aspects in there and the way it feels kind of like a serious tone, whereas, not to say Ni no Kuni didn't have a serious tone, it was just a little more lighthearted and childlike, but this one feels like there's something dark going on in the background, so,
oh,
um,
there definitely is. Um, Link was ritual summoned. Like, I don't think there's any way that they can put a spin on that. Link definitely was like brought to life in this. He was definitely brought to life by somebody.
hmm
Like,
definitely Shadow of the Colossus style.
yeah, like he definitely he was in a he just suddenly came out of a pool of water and he started hearing a voice and he woke up with like no clothes on. To me, that either means one wild Friday night or or he was summoned via some type of dark ritual or light ritual. Um, Either way, Link appears to have not been a part of this Hyrule.
hmm
And that's the biggest thing, because if Link's not a part of this Hyrule, then is the Triforce even there? Is the Master Sword real? Is this even in the Zelda timeline? I know it's backwards and broken and makes no
Well,
sense, but
as we know, Link is the hero of time, so it's possible that he could have been summoned from medieval Hyrule, and this is like a Hyrule far into the future where technology is basically integrated.
there is one Link that is a hero, that is the hero of time. One of the many Links.
Well, yeah.
Um,
I'm just
I
coming
believe,
up with one theory. I mean,
I believe this
there's so
Link.
much you could, read into
I
this.
believe this Link is going to be dubbed the hero of light, considering like the moment he steps out of the cave, he's said that he's told that by this mystical, magical voice in his head, "You are the light, Link. You must light the darkness that stretches over Hyrule." Like, okay,
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't
I
see a
don't.
lot of darkness in that
It looks very
gameplay.
bright and colorful to me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
But I mean, there's so many theories you can come up with just from the short amount of gameplay that they showed. But it
Right.
definitely looks interesting. I love how, and this also reminded me of Shadow of the Colossus. When you climb, there's a stamina meter, and when it runs out, you can let go and potentially die if you try to climb something that is far too large for where your stamina is. And I'm sure there's ways to increase it over the course of the game, but you could screw yourself over. So I like that. And then you also replenish your health not by collecting hearts, but actually eating food. So that's interesting. They're taking a lot more of a very different approach with this game, what with the technology and how it's more of like an open world RPG. I mean, it just freaked me out when they were cutting the grass and no hearts or items or anything came out.
Yeah,
I
no
don't think I've
roops.
even seen any. I didn't think I saw any rupees come
No roops.
out of any chests or anything. So I'm wondering, like, if there's even currency in this game, or if you just craft stuff from the things that you pick up from the ground.
It doesn't appear that this has any economy to it whatsoever.
Hmm.
From
Maybe it's
I've been
post-apocalyptic Hyrule.
or or a free Hyrule. This
Hmm.
could actually be so early in Hyrule's existence that technology is a thing, and all this magic in the Zelda games is actually just the technology more advanced to a point where people don't even realize it. Maybe that's what the magic is, because magic is essentially just technology people haven't figured out yet.
Then why can you run out of magic and need to collect more magic potions for your meter?
Because video games.
Like that doesn't make sense with the technology aspect. They could just like keep running forever unless they need batteries
Yeah.
or something.
Well, you could argue that the ocean is a liquid power source. I mean,
But then why do you drink it?
my point here being that this clearly wasn't where anybody that's ever worked on Zelda saw it going at the beginning. It's just
Mhm.
where it ended up. So
Oh, and it's definitely interesting. I think that they took a lot of risks with this game, and that's probably why it's been taking so long to develop because they've been going in such a different direction that they had to create a lot of new assets and stuff for this new game. So, um, I think it should turn out to be a pretty good one.
it's certainly very ambitious. I read a report that the map size is about 12 times that of Twilight Princess,
Wow.
and that the area you're given for the demo, which is a very big demo. I mean, they've been showing it on Treehouse for like an hour and a half now in like 20-minute segments, and they're still doing stuff with it. It's only supposed to be 1% of the whole map. So
Jeez. Well, I
this
know
game's going to be
exploration is
giant.
important in this game because you do have to pick up a lot of stuff from the ground and encounter enemies to get new weapons and stuff. And I think that's pretty interesting. There's like weapon and item durability now, so there's a bit of a survival aspect to it, kind of like Don't Starve, where if you use items too much, they break. Um, and then you have to get new ones. And I think you do run out of space in your pockets, so you
Yes,
have to kind of
I've
pick and choose which items you deem to be most important.
I've actually seen that happen in the demo. They had found an extra sword and they had to drop something to pick it up.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
they're showing off the amiibos right now. I have the stream on with it muted on my TV. They're showing off the new amiibos they have coming for this game.
Hmm.
Apparently, they're doing a new version of the Wolf Link with Midna riding him.
Mhm.
They're doing a Archer Link from Breath of the Wild, and then those robots with the tentacles that you saw in the trailer.
Yes, I
They
want one
have
of those
one.
amiibo.
They have one, and it has opposable tentacles.
Is it just me, or does it kind of look like one of those robot things from The Incredibles?
It might be.
That's kind of what I thought when I first saw it, but that could just be me.
Oh no, they're just showing off the current Wolflink amiibo and how it interacts with Twilight Princess HD right
Oh,
now.
gotcha, gotcha.
But they are showing off the other two, and yeah. So the octopus thing, the Robo Octorok, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what it is.
The Roboctorok.
It has opposable tentacles, which I think is really cool. Like you can like move these tentacles around there.
Huh, that's interesting.
Oh, they're showing how the amiibo work on the new Zelda now.
Good, good.
They're taking. Oh no. Okay, you can summon Wolflink in Breath of Life.
Oh, nice. You mean Breath of the
Breath
Wild?
of the Wild,
Yeah, yeah.
He is an NPC and appears as your ally, or at least a mount in this game.
Huh.
He has his own separate health bar. He follows you around and everything. So he is very much a real thing that exists. And now I'm starting to think that this is a very different Hyrule.
Yeah, maybe it's like a different timeline and you can summon other links from different timelines.
I think it's a multiverse game.
That would be cool because then with the regular Link amiibo, you could like summon.
Twilight Princess Link,
Well, no. The wolf Link
guess, yeah,
would be from Twilight
technically
Princess, and then like the regular Link would probably summon, like, I guess Ocarina of Time Link maybe.
Adult Link from those games, yeah.
Toon Link would summon Wind Waker Link.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. Wouldn't it be interesting if there were like, well, no, they couldn't do that because amiibos are technically like peripherals, so you can't really make some puzzles require multiple links. That would be unfair.
They were optional.
Yeah. An optional dungeon, perhaps.
They required like a team of links.
It sounds so weird saying it, because it's not like a Four Swords game, but they're like, oh yeah, a team of links. Could create your own Link army.
Well, the reason I'm saying that I think this is a multiverse game is because we do know that Link was summoned. This Link does not exist in this Hyrule. He was forcibly brought here.
So this could technically be Twilight Princess Hyrule.
It could be, but I don't think it is because again, when they tapped the amiibo and everything, and Wolflink appeared, Wolflink sort of like was sort of like had this like summoning thing happen where it was like black puff of smoke came out of the ground, and then Wolflink was there. So it seems like this Hyrule doesn't have a hero. And whoever this mysterious voice is, this embodied voice is that talks to Link at the beginning of the game, is summoning him to save this Hyrule because this Hyrule doesn't have a hero, or either that or their Link died off and the lineage died off with him. Which would add to
or that old man he encounters at the beginning could be the Link of this universe.
Yes, or the hero of time could be the Link of this universe, because remember, the hero. Well, no, because the hero of time doesn't stop the cycle of links from happening, because Twilight Princess Link fights him. So.
Yeah. I don't know, but in any case, there's a lot of theories that you can come up with this. I would like to think that the old man at the beginning is probably the hero of that world.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
What would have happened to this world Zelda?
Oh yeah, we forgot to tell everyone about your theory from Pokemon Sun and Moon about the mysterious girl.
Oh yeah, the mysterious girl is the Pokemon League champion.
Yeah. I mean, they expressly stated in the interview that she is not a
They
Pokemon
are
trainer.
liars.
I know. They were like, she is not a Pokemon trainer, but she will encounter you throughout
She
your
will
journey
follow
or
you
whatever.
for
And
sure. Yeah.
I'm like, they're just trying to lead us astray. Come on.
Look, they're expressly stating that, but my problem with them expressly stating that is that she says it herself in the game. So they're just going to tell you what the character says. And also, what a big plot twist, the character's been following you the entire time is the league champion watching you grow,
Mhm.
and now you have to battle them because they've been so powerful that they could have saved the entire game, and they chose not to because
Yeah.
it's your battle.
Well, I mean, still better than Diantha, who you meet once in X and Y.
You meet her once, and you're like, okay, so she has some significance to the plot,
And then
and
she
then
doesn't show up again until that point. I was like so mad. I really wanted AZ to be the freaking champion. Like what? And then that battle afterward in like the festival where he only has 3 Pokemon. I mean, oh, it was so disappointing. His Pokemon were cool, but he only had 3 and they weren't really a high level. You could have given him a whole team of 6 of ancient Pokemon. I mean, come on. Whatever.
I think Diantha was a last minute choice. Personally, I don't think she even existed in the game until like late in development because she clearly had no time put into her. The fact that she was that she didn't she showed up twice in X and Y. Showed up twice,
Mhm.
and then she had a stationary place where she'd spout rhetoric to you, in college, and then she's the Pokemon League champion inexplicably. That's
Yeah.
throughout the game.
It was I don't know. It was a weird decision on their part.
I mean, even one of your other allies, like
Ah, no, hang on. Skype is messing up. I'm going to pause for a second until we can.
Okay,
Alright, I think it's fixed.
okay, okay,
Okay. Yeah, you went robot for a sec.
yeah, yeah. My inner automaton came out. You can't have that. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I would have taken any of the 3 allies you have of the entire game that you're with. I forget what her name is, but she's so unimportant. The chick with the pink shirt. Um,
Oh, yeah, Shauna.
Shauna, there you go. She had no value. I thought for sure they'd be like, at the last second, guess what? She's actually a badass. She's the league champion.
Yeah, I know. That would be awesome. But, I guess, you know, better late than never to do it with this game.
Yeah.
Because she does look like she's gonna be. Well, I wouldn't say the helpless type, but she does look kind of like shy and.
Yeah. I will be right back. Can we pause the recording really quick?
One. And
So-
we're back.
Sorry about that, but so Zelda has some like crazy dynamic relationships. I don't know if I'm using dynamic in the right way, but I feel like I am. When you're going to a new region and like everything sort of starts to change, and considering this is a small part of the map, and at one point it was snowing and wasn't, I think I'm using dynamic, right? But the whole idea of hey, it's cold and it's wet, and you have to have gear for that, so you can't just be in your like basic small little thin tunic and the shorts you got when you were brought there. You can't be in the cold like that for very long, or else you'll freeze to death. And I think that's cool. It adds another survival element to the game. I'm like, yeah, no, that's cool. And you can't have a bunch of fur coats and leather in the heat, or else you're gonna die to that too. Because Link is human.
Mhm.
For once.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny when they went into the snowy area and he was like shivering on the menu. It made me feel so bad for him. But it was
I like
also
that
funny.
You can actually see his breath when he breathes in.
Yeah, that was really cool. So, they definitely really upped the graphical aesthetics in this one. Um, I really like how far into the distance you can see as well.
And
It's beautiful.
I'm hoping you can go as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And like you can mark places on the map too, so if you find a location of interest but you can't like go there now because you're just not equipped for it or something, you can mark it later. I think that's pretty cool too. So yeah.
Yep. Um, Everything about like this new Zelda seems interesting. I'm just concerned. Like, if there's one thing I'm going to say is my interest in this game is cautious optimism because we saw, especially after watching that dreadful Ubisoft press conference, there were some good things, but there were some dreadful things too.
Yeah, I remember you saying it was kind of a disappointment.
By the end of the conference, I had actually been asleep for 20 minutes at some point during the press conference at the very end when they were doing that big 20-minute thing on their next big thing. It put me to sleep. And here's why. Ubisoft has one type of game, it seems like, anymore. We're going to do an open world game. And they're going to be open world games, and it's all we're going to do. And
Hang on. I just want to point this out. I just checked Twitter on my phone real quick, and Chad Tronic tweeted, Zelda Breath of Far Cry Primal is looking fantastic.
Yes. Yes, exactly. But see, that's the thing. Like, when Zelda was before this game, Zelda was in a way its own genre. You know, the games really didn't have to compete with anybody. Because the name alone kind of sold it. This game, however, is radically changing its genre. It's no longer the dungeon crawler-esque RPG that it was, and now it's more of a survival action RPG. And it's an open world action RPG, and they have to be careful here because in this genre, everybody's making open world action RPGs.
Yeah. But from what I've seen, it looks like they're doing a good job.
Yeah, they definitely are.
As long as it, like, right now, the world does look kind of barren. Like, I didn't see a lot of towns or anything. As long as there is some more of that, when the game comes out, because, like, you know, people these days have pretty low attention spans, so you gotta have something to, you know, keep the players coming back and not get bored and stuff, but I think they'll be able to do it.
I do.
Because it is still in development, so, you know.
Yes, but I will say this, for a game that's supposed to be coming out, either, I believe, sometime between the end of this year and the beginning of next year, there's a game in that same window that's trying to accomplish a lot of the same things and is looking 10 times better than Zelda, and it's Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, that's true. They do look pretty similar.
But the difference is, Horizon Zero Dawn's world, even without the need of towns, is very alive. Like, there is a ton of life to that game. And Zelda, it feels like you walk for 10 miles, you find a couple enemies, you kill them, you walk for another 10 miles, you find another couple enemies, and maybe you find a dungeon, and you get to explore that. With Horizon, this is a living, breathing world, and you are not at the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
It adds more to that survival aspect than something like weapon durability can, you know? So that's just one aspect to it. Now, of course, if you're talking about interest and everything, most people aren't going to have to worry about this issue because one is a Wii U exclusive, one is a PS4 exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all in what system you have.
Yeah, but it does bring up the situation if somebody said had both consoles. I think they probably lean more toward Horizon than Zelda. And it's not because...
Well, it really depends, because if you think about it, like, Zelda's been around for a long time, so it's got a pretty loyal fan base, whereas Horizon is a completely new IP. So it's not only in what system you have, but it's also with franchise loyalty as well.
That's fair, but Horizon has sort of built itself up for the last 2 years now. And it's shown gameplay. It's impressed a ton of people. Zelda, we're just now seeing it, and I think even the most loyal of fans were at least remotely skeptical, of the game up until this point. And even though it still looks good, I think it'll perform well. I'm not trying to diss the game at all. I think they're both gonna be very good selling games. I'm using the whole idea of Horizon as an example for Zelda has to bring something different to this genre, or else it's just gonna get lost in the clutter with every other game.
Oh, I bet between now and when it comes out, we're probably going to see a little bit more from it.
I would hope so. I mean, now they're still demoing the game. Right now, they're even right now still demoing the game.
Oh, they're gonna do that like all day, probably.
That is, they are there for the entirety of E3. So they are there until the end of Thursday, and this is their only game. Like, you saw the Pokemon stuff, they got that out of the way. Now it is strictly Zelda. So they're going to be showing Zelda gameplay the entire time. So
well, they have a lot to show.
Oh yeah, they're restarting the demo, and I just remembered that there's this giant church thing they never went to. That's like right next nearby.
Yeah, that's what's so great about it being open world. You can go anywhere you want at the start of the game.
And I definitely think that helps Zelda, because this feels more like a true Zelda title. You're given the option of choice. As one of the developers stated earlier in the day, what you do and where you go is totally dependent on you. There is nothing stopping you from going to the later dungeons. You can do that if you want to at the beginning.
You'll probably get wrecked, but
but you have that option, much like you did in the original game.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, right now they're harkening back to the original and showing off specifically the point in the original concept art, which had Link overlooking a hill. They've actually recreated that in this game. Like, this is, like, I would say this is the full Hyrule. I don't think we've ever seen, like, a full Hyrule before. I don't believe we've seen the complete world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I think we've seen sections of it in sectors. I think this is the first time that the entire Hyrule map will be open to the player.
That is an interesting theory. Like I said, there's a lot that you can take from what little they've shown, and you can, create your own scenarios and stuff. But it really comes down to whenever the game gets released, and then we can see for ourselves. And what's great about it being open world is that every player can have a completely different experience. You could really play it for as long or as little as you want.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's cool.
There is some good news as well coming out of this whole stuff with them. They announced that the NX version will be on par and equal with the Wii U version. So neither version would be technically superior to the other.
Good. Yeah, that was one thing I was a little worried about. But I am glad that they're coming out with it for both systems, kind of like how they did it with Twilight Princess. So, yeah, good decision on their part, because some people are going to be a little skeptical about the NX, but then other people might want the NX just so that they could play this game on the new system for whatever reason, even though they just said, oh, it's technically going to be the same, but,
It's technically going to be the same game, but given Nintendo's track record, the NX is probably going to be the NX is going to be the console. It's the future. It's the future of the Nintendo system. No matter if they want to say, oh, we're not going to abandon the Wii U. As far as I'm concerned at this point, it's effectively as much as Microsoft saying they're not abandoning the Kinect. It has no weight. They've done it. By saying that their flagship franchise is coming out simultaneously on the Wii U and NX is effectively saying they've left the Wii U behind.
I guess, but it's still for both systems, so the people who don't have the money for the new
Yeah,
system when it comes out can still get it and play it.
I
Because, there's going to be lots of people who will want to play the new Zelda game as soon as it comes out, so.
well, that's the whole reason the Wii U version didn't get canceled.
Hmm.
I can almost guarantee that.
Well,
I'm
yeah, if
fair,
they canceled the Wii U version, they would piss off a lot of their fans, so.
I'm fairly certain what happened was the game was delayed because it was decided that it would be more profitable to put the new Zelda on NX than on Wii U. But they decided to keep making the Wii U version for the reasoning, with the reasoning that while they don't have that large of a user base, they could still make money off of it, knowing they'll probably make the full profit they need off the NX version anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in any case, I think we should wrap this up because I do have to start getting ready for work.
Yeah, we've been talking for like an hour.
Yeah, yeah. Still not as long as the last discussion video, but
Nope.
there was a lot to talk about with the gameplay footage shown off. Um, so hopefully the next discussion video will come sooner than this one did from the last one, which was around Halloween. Um, but yeah, it was great seeing all that gameplay footage, and it was great talking to you about it, Day Night.
It's nice talking to you too. Maybe
I'll
maybe next year if we've got some stuff set up, we'll just do a live like reaction thing to E3 press conferences.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch every press conference this year because I do have a day job, so um, I wasn't able to do a discussion video on every one, but I wanted to keep it just to Nintendo this time because in the previous year I kept it just to Sony, so, trying to keep it a little balanced, so, you know.
Yep.
But anyway, nice talking to you, and I will probably, hopefully, we'll be able to get together again soon to record more Portal
Yes.
because I was having a lot of fun with that game.
Portal and Dead Space.
Yeah, yeah. I found out that he just recently got Dead Space, and he wants to play through it, and I was like, yes, I want to play that game so badly. So, if you couldn't tell, we're both pretty into sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So, I will catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye!